Subscribe for more.
I didn't think anything of it at first. Claire had always been organized, almost obsessively so. Lists, color-coded calendars, labeled drawers. That Saturday morning, she was packing for a 3-day business trip to Boston, folding blouses with military precision. I was leaning against the doorframe, coffee in hand, half watching, half thinking about the deck I needed to finish staining. We'd been married 11 years. Comfortable, predictable, maybe too predictable. When she unzipped the side pocket of her carry-on, something small slid onto the bed. A white plastic case. Birth control pills. For a second my brain stalled, like a computer freezing mid-task. Claire and I hadn't used birth control in years. She had her tubes tied after our second miscarriage. That decision had been heavy, final, and mutual. So seeing that case there felt like finding a stranger's key on my ring. I didn't say anything right away. I picked it up, turned it over once, then set it back on the bed. Claire noticed, but only briefly. She smiled, a quick tight thing, and said, "Oh, those are just hormonal. Doctor stuff." The way she said it wasn't defensive. It was practiced, like she'd already answered the question somewhere else. I nodded. What else was I supposed to do? Start an argument over a plastic box? I told myself I was being paranoid. People change meds. Bodies change. Marriage teaches you to swallow questions for the sake of peace. The problem was, once I noticed that, I started noticing everything else. The new lingerie, she said, was for herself. The way she guarded her phone like it was fragile. The late-night emails she answered facing away from me. None of it was proof. All of it together felt like a quiet alarm going off in a room I'd ignored for too long. That night, after she went to sleep, I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying the last few years. The distance had crept in slowly. Less touching, fewer inside jokes. Conversations reduced to logistics. I had blamed work, stress, getting older. Now I wondered if I'd just been convenient. A week later, while she was in Boston, the house felt hollow. Too quiet. I tried to distract myself with chores, but my mind kept circling back to that little case. On the second night, I did something I never thought I would. I checked our phone bill. It wasn't dramatic. No passwords cracked, no spying apps. Just a list of numbers and timestamps. One number stood out. Repeated calls. Late. Long. I stared at it for a long time before dialing. It rang twice. A man answered. "Hello." I hung up without speaking, heart pounding like I'd been caught doing something wrong. Maybe I had. The next day, Claire came home. She kissed my cheek, dropped her bag, talked about delayed flights and bad coffee. I watched her like she was behind glass, waiting for a crack. It came when I asked, casually, "How was Boston, really?" She paused, just a beat too long. "Fine," she said. That was it. Fine. Something in me settled then, not into anger, but into certainty. I didn't accuse her. I didn't demand explanations. I just stopped reaching. Over the next month, I matched her distance with my own. Fewer questions. More silence. I focused on myself. Gym. Work. Old friends. If she noticed, she didn't say anything. One evening, she sat across from me at the kitchen table and said, "You've been different." I looked at her and realized I wasn't afraid anymore. "So have you," I replied. She didn't deny it. She just looked tired. The truth finally came out on a Tuesday, of all days. No yelling. No tears. She admitted she'd met someone through work. Said it just happened. Said it didn't mean anything. I listened, nodding, like she was giving a weather report. When she finished, she waited for my reaction. I stood up, cleared my plate, and said, "I know." That surprised her more than anything. I packed a bag that night. Not because of the pills, or the calls, or even the affair. I left because I understood something I'd avoided for years. Fidelity isn't just about bodies. It's about presence. And somewhere along the way, we both already left. As I drove away, I felt calm. Sad, yes, but calm. The pills hadn't been the betrayal. They'd just been the moment I finally opened my eyes. In the weeks that followed, friends asked questions I didn't know how to answer. They wanted villains and heroes, clean lines. I had none to give. Claire and I moved through the separation with the same quiet efficiency that had once defined our marriage. Papers filed. Accounts divided. No shouting, no scenes. Just acceptance. Some nights I replayed that morning in my head. The sunlight on the bedspread. The soft click of the zipper, the way something so small had shifted everything. I wondered how many other signs I'd missed because they were inconvenient to see. I also wondered how long I'd been disappearing before she ever did. There's a strange relief in knowing the truth, even when it hurts. Uncertainty drains you in ways pain never does. I started sleeping better, eating better, laughing, cautiously, with people who hadn't known me as half of something else. Claire and I spoke occasionally, mostly about logistics. Once, she apologized. I thanked her, not because it fixed anything, but because holding on to anger felt like carrying luggage I no longer needed. Looking back now, I don't think that discovery ruined my marriage. I think it ended something that had already run its course. The pills were just plastic and hormones. What mattered was the silence we'd both learned to live with. Walking away wasn't dramatic or brave. It was simply honest. And that honesty, uncomfortable as it was, gave me my life back. That clarity changed how I defined trust, love, and respect.